though.
That's-
They put the stuff where it needs to be, and
Yeah.
it will regenerate your.
It's only as good as the live stuff you have, so.
Apparently, you got good stuff going on.
Wait till you're
Dave, in terms of,
pain-free.
Dave, are you talking about the cartilage itself?
No, like the meniscus
Right. Okay.
and the living tissue.
Ever see a bug like that?
And then when?
So we won this. We won on Saturday.
Hmm.
Wait, what day is it? Yeah, we won on Saturday.
Yeah.
We lost yesterday.
Oh,
So we played Saturday. We started.
in
at-
Westbrook.
Yeah, everything's in Westbrook. We played at 1 in the midday sun and we played extra innings. It was this battle, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Nice.
And we won by 1.
Right.
And it was like the most, like, I left and I was, oh my God, I'm like, on such a
Nail
rush
biter?
right now. Like,
Mhm.
and it was just so freaking hot.
Mm.
So I'm back yesterday and another game in the midday sun. Our regular pitcher ended up, they were playing fast before they started and she never face masks on. She took a ball right here and it was like kind of cut and it immediately was like poof.
Mm.
So just in the blazing sun, like she just sort of fell apart. And
Yeah.
then once one starts, they all start because they're like.
Yeah, 'cause
10,
they're a team.
11, and-
And their team. So
Yeah, so
that's so
they're in
does
practice right now, regrouping and getting all.
so,
the
so does that mean that they're still in it?
They're still in it because it's a double elimination.
Double
So we
elimination.
play Machias tomorrow at 5:45
In Westbrook,
in Westport.
at Bridge Street up at the school.
Yeah, it's a nice little
Mm.
I
spot.
almost went up the other day.
It's a nice little spot. So we play at 5:45 and then Gorham and Herman play at 8. So it's a fun little all-week event if we keep going.
Yes.
And somehow there was nothing tonight, so I was like, okay, I'll take it. I don't know if I'm inside or what, but. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. that's for sure.
Cool. Another one of these. The edition we've all been waiting for.
There's a teaser thing.
Yeah.
Wow. And now it's not- no, it's- Also apologize in advance for my squeaky voice because I've been doing a lot of shouting, so. Much to my daughter's liking.
Whoa.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we all live and unmuted? So I've just been talking about softball. Okay, cool. All right, well, we'll go ahead. Welcome to the July 15th, 2024 regular meeting of the Lyman Select Board. This meeting is a public proceeding and is being recorded. I'm going to start us out. If you'll all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have no special offers and presentations tonight. We'll jump right into item number 2. Start out with public input. Public in attendance will have up to 5 minutes to address the board. Please use the podium to address the board and please be respectful of others. Any public comment this evening? Okay, great. We'll jump to mail. In our packet, we had the York County Sheriff Report, which is also online and always very informative, as well as a FEMA letter, which basically just says that the ordinance that we had put forward for the emergency floodplain management ordinance that we put forward was accepted, adopted, and they just thanked us for doing what we were supposed to do, essentially. So,
That'll still be on the ballot.
yes,
Mhm.
and we'll still have to do it one more time before it, because it's a 90-day approval thing.
Okay.
All right, minutes. Review and approve the meeting minutes from July 1st, 2024 meeting.
I didn't see anything that I would change.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second it.
Any discussion on those?
I have one question. There was, Lindsay had made an offer to post a link on the website if there was available for the flood maps. Were you able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, where is it? Because I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it.
Put it under ordinances and personnel policies and ordinances.
Okay. Okay, I'll look for that. I just wanted to look around my area and I couldn't find it. So, okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on those? All in favor?
Aye.
Pass. Alright. Moving on to warrants. We have, first one is payroll warrant number 1 for FY '25, in the amount of $31,309.58.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on payroll warrant number 1? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, then we have accounts payable warrant number 52 for FY '24 in the amount of $60,456.69.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on accounts payable warrant number 52?
I would just like to point out the EcoMaine for municipal solid waste for June, we spent $10,906.01. And for recycling, we went down to $639.90.
I had a question, if I can find it. It was of course, I saw it earlier, but when I want it, I can't find it. But there was a charge to like a funeral home,
Awesome.
and I was curious as to what that was, because from the detail, I didn't figure it out.
That was from an executive session you guys had with GA, but I was not part of that meeting, but somewhere in that discussion, you talked about using emergency resident disaster relief funds.
We
Well,
referred,
That's what was conveyed to me, so.
we referred GA back to you and Jeanette to see if they had the authority to go through that process.
Okay. It was, I guess it's the same message, it is conveyed a little bit differently.
All right.
I just want to be clear, we were very intentional in executive session, just say that we were in executive session for one thing, and we were not going to address the other item. So I just want that to be clear for everyone.
I was gonna say, I don't remember.
I was
Yeah, it's
like,
like,
wait,
no,
we've gone,
Thank you.
But a while back ago, I think, and this goes back a couple of years ago, when it came to like disaster relief funds for the resident thing, I think you guys, for the board at one point, had approved GA just to kind of like.
And I think we did, which is why we said
Mhm.
we're kind of gonna step out of that one, so. Okay. Any other discussion on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
And then we're going to move to accounts payable warrant number 2 for FY '25 in the amount of $66,812.58.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that warrant?
Oh, because it's this one.
Mhm.
That's why I couldn't find it.
Well, I was like,
At least you're not losing
Oh,
your
yeah.
mind.
I'm on it.
so we had that discussion. Any other discussion on this warrant?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Item number 4. Moving on to item number 5. Feel pretty comfortable there's not new updates on the grant?
So,
Okay.
just waiting to hear from.
Didn't want to skip it if there was some new hot news.
I mean, I'd throw an email or something in there, for me, done the same thing,
Okay.
We've sent everything to Shelley. Tony said the law doesn't go into effect till August, I don't remember the date. So it's, we're still
Okay.
waiting for the effectiveness of the law to change.
Great. Item B, the MMA Legislative Policy Committee letter. I know last time, I think we only had like part of the letter and we were all kind of like, what are we gonna do with this? So, any conversation about this? Jim?
You vote for one,
Mhm.
and Mary Hoffman is the incumbent. And she has expressed an interest in continuing because there's some things that she'd like to see through. Mr. Lassard from Bedford also wants to have it, and he's well-known.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would suggest that we vote in favor of Ms. Hoffman because if I'm reading this correctly, Bedford already gets a delegate to this
Mhm.
by an automatic situation. Ms. Hoffman is on the select board over at Hollis, a town comparable to ours. And as Vicki mentioned, she served on this beforehand. She's testified before the state legislature on legislation such as the extension of the due date for compliance to LD 2003. So
Was on a motion.
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
So that, we'll just handle that in on the green one, right?
Yep.
Nice.
What else participating?
Well, we all did our homework. Thank you for that.
Awesome. All right. And moving on to C, the discussion on the pest control / tick spraying applications quote. So I know in our packet, we've got some more information. I know Holly went back to the company to get the MSDS sheet and to talk about the way the pricing was working. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have the money this fiscal year to do it. It would be a next, unless we took it out of,
We'd have to find it somewhere.
Yeah, you can
Something
find it
else.
somewhere. You know, but we can definitely build it into the next fiscal year
right?
during budget season.
Would it be allowable for us to move to discussion before we motion or?
I
I
think so. I
think
don't see
that
why not.
we had a good discussion about it last time and now we have new information and I
I'm
like-
fine
I
with
like-
discussing it.
I'd like to know what everybody else is thinking as well.
well, I'm thinking that, is this something that can be, since we're not doing it this year, is this something that can be copied and passed out to the parents so that they know?
Who's gonna do that?
I'll do it.
You're gonna notify all of them.
I am not gonna notify the parents. But anybody who uses the field,
Yeah, I think it's just letting those groups know, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, just an FYI, we don't treat for ticks. I know I'll just say, some of the confusion when we were there this past spring for the season, KCB had put a sign up for the fertilizer because they're required to post that they fertilized. But the sign, like, nobody actually went and read it. And so then they're like, oh yeah, they treat for ticks. Why are there so many ticks? And I was like, that's weird. I'm not aware that we treat for ticks. And then I went over to the sign. I was like, guys, they fertilized the field. So it's one of those things where I think as long as we just let people know, I don't think it's any different. Like, we were practicing at another town's park and there was like underground wasps nests. So then we moved to a different town now. But so it's just this bouncing around kind of thing that, like, I think as long as people are aware, that's all.
Well, I think a sign is a great idea if
Mm.
people read it though.
Yeah.
I can't be,
No, I think just whoever's renting me personally, I think it's when United Soccer or Massapequa Little League or whoever puts in their form to rent the field. Maybe it's just a one pager that says like, hey, porta potties are there in the whatever season and we don't treat for insects and we sometimes do fertilize the field and the signs will be posted, but just some like, but that's to me the due diligence. I don't think it's like trying to find every person that ever goes there, because that's not real life.
I'm not sure if I have a popular.
John, I was about to do it too.
I'm not sure if I have a popular or an unpopular opinion on it, but I do have an opinion on it.
Yeah, it's fair.
I work outside. I come across all kinds of things that want to bite me and take my blood and do all kinds of things. And I take personal responsibility for, sometimes if I'm in a place that's heavily infested, of taping my pant legs inside my boots and taping that shut so they stay on the outside. I do tick checks. I do sometimes some spray. I'm not sure about having constant poison dumped on our land all the time. It can upset bees, and there's other reasons for it, but you're gonna come across this stuff.
Yeah,
And unless we have a major problem where there's a huge infestation to it, I'm not down.
One of the other things too, like your local health officer was working on, getting signs. I think it's through the CDC, I don't remember, but they make these really nice signs about like ticks, how to do tick checks and preventative measures and stuff like that. So she had asked if she could post signs up around the various parks. I said that would be a great idea. I don't know if I haven't seen those come in yet, but she said apparently they're free somewhere out there. She's gonna look into getting them. So maybe it's, if we're not gonna go with the spraying stuff, maybe we do more of the awareness.
right. I think if we just do our due diligence and let people know that we don't do it, because again, there was this thought out there somewhere that we do it. And I was like, I don't think we do. That's when I came and asked the question. So I'm totally fine with that approach. I think that's legitimate, because I also know part of like, piggybacking on Vicky's point is the second you do start doing something like that, then it brings a whole different group of individuals with different concerns. So, especially near a body of water.
So what you're saying is even next year, we're not gonna, you don't want to consider it?
I'm saying I'd be fine not considering it so long as we make the groups that are renting the space aware that we don't do it.
I'm not against discussing it again at
Yeah.
budget season, depending on what the budget looks like, but, to me, it's not just financial, my reasons why, it's personal responsibility in my opinion. Yes, it's public areas, but, you can't control every little pest.
Like I said, I think as long as people know that going into it and they're aware.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
the only concerns I had was in looking at the material safety data sheet. It goes through OSHA categories 1 through 4, and I couldn't find exactly which is more severe, 1 or
That's why,
4. So there's a little bit of a red flag right there. And if we were just saying hypothetically down the road, exactly at what time of year would be most optimal for treatment, I would assume there'd be some period of time where you couldn't use the facility for some time. So it gets a little more and more involved.
it talks about that in here, that it's, 2 days or while it dries, or 2 hours, or
Yeah, I think it's-
something
Weather dependent.
in here that I read through, it depending on the weather. And it will last if it's hot and dry, it won't last less time if it's wet. But I liked that, it seemed like there was a lot more information with this, even though they said that it explained what the differences were in those prices in the beginning of what we had before, but I didn't see it. I understand it now.
I didn't either.
But I didn't understand it then.
So I went and looked up the spray stuff, and in what it says that it treats for, it's not separate. It treats for mosquitoes and ticks all in one combination. So if there was gonna be spraying, I would say spray for mosquitoes and hope it gets some of the ticks. if the ticks or, depending which one is the concern, spray for ticks and hope it gets some mosquitoes, or spray for mosquitoes and hope it gets some ticks. But for me, we talk about the expenses that we add on, we buy a camera, we add an expense for maintaining it. This is another expense that I think if we're gonna spray the fields that other people are coming in and other entities from outside of the town are renting it, then we should include that in the fee that we charge so that we're not putting it on the taxpayers to keep coming up with money, for fields that,
Agreed with that.
and I think, I've never heard of spraying when my kids were playing sports. We always had a can or two of bug spray.
Yeah.
And, so I feel like, it's personal responsibility. There's not very many places that you go today that they're like, oh, don't worry, we've sprayed for ticks and mosquitoes.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I don't think anyone was like, I can't believe they don't. I think it was people just were automatically under the impression that we do somehow. So why that is, I have no idea. So I'm good with it.
So I'm laughing because it's a clear age thing. When I was young, the trucks used to go through the town and spray the
Oh,
deep.
the foggers,
The
yes.
massive fog, and we would
Can you
run
imagine
behind the
the
truck
lights
saying
right now?
that we're like in heaven and gone.
Oh, yeah, close.
Nobody told us not to follow the truck.
Okay. So, I don't want to speak for everyone. Is the general consensus that we're gonna leave this where it's at and just make groups aware that we don't?
That's a good idea.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's where I'm,
Yeah.
down.
Okay, let's keep going. We'll get under the
I like that
conversation.
we can discuss it though, that's,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so moving on to item number 6, department and committee reports. Fire Chief All Hands, that comes out weekly. And he's not here sharing of that with us, but it's in here. And then we have the fire commission's update is sort of a standing.
I think that we are, this is gonna be the year that we break 1,000 calls.
Yep.
The meeting that was supposed to be last Thursday was postponed to this coming Thursday,
Okay,
so I don't have anything to report,
okay,
other than it was postponed.
good report.
That was a tough one.
And then we have the town clerk's excise report for June of 2024. I'm sorry, I went to the last section. Basically, just outlines everything that she collected. Total vehicle excise, $112,136.98. People are still registering votes. So that's good. Yeah, and year-to-date excise collection is around 1.4.
It's good, keep buying those cars.
Excellent. All right, moving on to item number 7, new business. We have discuss an RFP for snow plowing at the transfer station and determine when we're going to open that. As far as posting it, getting it back in, having enough time to have it in.
10,000 budget for this year.
I think we did too, just based on a rough question or something.
So I just need to know when you guys want to open these. Thinking September, October. Yeah, we probably put out the RFP this week, once I get.
So the contract's October. I would definitely open at some point in September.
Okay.
Vicky, what do you got?
I'm wondering, did we add in the stuff that missed the last contract, then we had to come back and put more money in?
I think that's what this is,
Is
right?
that what,
Yeah, so it used to be, the contract was like $3,000 to run a path up the road so they could get to the loader, and then the attendants would handle the rest. And then this is gonna be for all of it, basically
Everything,
wherever
okay.
it's paved. So we didn't want them to go on the gravel, because we don't want the plows to chew up the gravel area. So I think the attendants will handle that, and what had been done in the past, when Brad was plowing up there, he just plowed the paved section. And then the attendants handle any like shoveling, snow blowing, that kind of
Or
stuff.
like moving bags back.
I remember. my last term, we had a faux pas on one of the plowing contracts, and the next time we renewed it, we still forgot to put that in, and we had to do it again, so that's why I'm asking. I figured it was handled this time, but I wanted to make sure.
Fantastic. Um,
Is there any, does it go under the, where it says terms and conditions will be further defined in the formal contract? Is that where something would be put in there about damage caused by snow plowing and new repairs, all that?
So we
Okay.
have snow plowing contract for the town hall, the one for the transportation, that's just for the thing, we have one for Bungana, we have one for Kennebuck Pond. So I'd be kind of taking those and working off of that, and then the scope of work within the contract would match what we want for transportation.
Okay.
So, and I mean, tell me if you feel indifferent about it, but like, it says in my job description that I would execute contracts for the town, so I was just thinking like we would do the RFP process, and then when it comes time for the contract, I would just deal with it.
Yep.
Unless you guys wanna deal with it,
I think September 16th. That's a meeting, that's our second meeting in September. Or maybe the first one,
First one.
just to give some time.
First
So
one,
we,
yeah.
Yeah, give us some time if we don't get
Mhm.
bids or need to ask
yeah,
questions.
so like open September 3rd.
Mhm.
And if we have questions, there's time to get answered. And hope it doesn't snow in October. Sorry, Vicki. If you were hoping for that.
It's fine.
Do you need anything else from us on that, Lindsay?
I wouldn't think so. Unless you guys have any questions on it.
I think we talked quite a bit about budget and that one.
Yes, we did.
All right,
So, I'm sorry,
Go
September
ahead.
3rd?
yes, September 3rd. So item B, committee applicant for the giving committee. That's right.
I'll make a motion
Move right ahead.
to appoint Jessica Jackman to the Giving Committee.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, Madam Chair,
Yes.
just one question. Did we provide any funding for the giving committee this
No,
fiscal
the
year?
giving committee's project statement, I think, talks about like fundraising
Mhm.
for that specific committee.
I was just looking at the literature here, funding is pending count appropriation for each fiscal year, but my understanding is that
Yeah, I don't think we
Fundraising.
put any in
Yeah, I think
there.
there's that language in there, like, to focus on fundraising.
Mhm.
What we have for budgeting is we do just a committee line for any committee. I think we do, I wanna say like either 1,500 or 3,000, it's just a small amount. So it started with the ORC, but then we just kind of umbrellaed it over all committees in case, then comp plan came, you know, so if there's ever, and then Bumming Park. So it kind of helps us if something comes up that we're like, oh, we do have this line here. But I don't foresee them, and I talked to the person about this too, that's more about like fundraising, and they had some good ideas on doing like bottle drives and food drives and stuff like that. So it's really kind of, it's a charitable driven thing.
thank you.
Awesome. Then we have item C, discussion, legal services.
So this question comes up every year, and usually like after we're in the midst of budgeting and it's just too late. And it's a question of like whether or not we should look into hiring like a different attorney firm. So I don't have a preference one way or the other. I just put it in here because it's come up the last 2 years I've been here, it keeps coming up. So if you guys have any ideas or you want to at least look into, like maybe look at what other options are, or we could do an RFP, totally up to you guys.
I don't know if an RFP has been done for this particular matter, for legal services since 11 or 12 years ago when we hired our current attorney.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so what I do know is we budget 17,000 for legal services. Last fiscal year, we used 7,600. It's just one of those things, you're never gonna know how much of that fund you're going to use.
That's for sure.
So I mean, that's kind of the number you have to work with within, I don't think we're gonna have to raise the budget, but you could still do an RFP if you wanted to just get different quotes, or you can leave it alone. It's totally up to you. I just wanted to get ahead of being asked that question.
Personally, I don't see any issues. I like continuity in a way. Somebody that knows the history and legacy of where we came from and where we're going. I haven't heard any complaints. I'm not looking to move at this time unless somebody makes a compelling argument for it.
My only, and it's not really a huge issue, because I know out there, everybody's busy. I mean, response time can be kind of slow, but sometimes there's a lot of stuff on the table too. So I just imagine, every industry out there is juggling a lot, so I try not to nag. Otherwise, I really don't have, one opinion or the other.
Do you happen to know the hourly rate,
135 an hour.
which is about a third of what most
I'm
lawyers
gonna say
get?
that's probably a very, very low rate for.
And likely based on the lasting, continuing relationship.
Yeah.
I'm okay with leaving as is if there's no major concern. It's one of those things that falls under.
And then that way, at least, if someone asked me, I could say, well, the board, I've brought it up to you guys, and we decided just to leave it status quo, and I'm fine with that too. honestly.
Never against checking to see if there's better prices out there, but I don't want to add more work to, your daily thing. But I do think that the 135 is probably a rate that we're not going to get from any other law firm.
Just knowing what we dealt with in the charter, I think it was like a difference of
Yeah.
200 to 225 an hour or something crazy like that.
Yeah. And I feel like that was even a little deal, like a bargain. I feel like
A nonprofit rate
Yeah,
or
it was
something
a-
like that. I think they coined it as a sales pitch. Are you all okay with that on this side?
I'm cool.
Great.
Well, that was the fastest meeting. we've
Oh,
had.
we're-
No,
hold
no,
on.
wait.
Hold on.
Not yet.
I have to ask the question. Is there any other SB sign items?
I have a question. I'm wondering, did you get any information for us pertaining to a review, town manager review?
I
yearly
thought
review?
on my year, I have it and I will send it. I have not sent it. I told Lindsay I was gonna send it too, so. Yes, I will send that.
That was one of the recommendations, was to do that in a timely fashion.
Yes. I will do that.
Thank you.
Any other?
Oh, just a reminder of Music in the Park on Thursdays at 6:30.
Tour de France is on right now, so on Thursdays.
Okay.
Lindsay, were you able to talk to the IT committee about the broken links on the website? Okay, so that's all taken care of.
In process, maybe.
In process.
I don't think that's like all.
Are they willing to look at it?
I didn't object. I haven't heard from them since, so.
Okay,
Good.
but it's been passed on.
Awesome.
Exciting.
Sign some stuff. Needs a haircut.
Hmm.
I've been fantasizing about shaving my head in all this heat,
Oh.
so, but I
Just
have to
put
ask the
all time
question.
on.
I just have to ask the question though. My husband said he would call me Victor. I want to know if everybody else would call me Victor as well, because that's not really what I'm looking for.
I would
I'm
not.
not gonna comment on that. I'm just gonna tell you to do what makes you feel good about you.
What
Oh,
about in the winter, using it as a fundraiser for your Make-A-Wish?
can do that.
Probably doesn't wanna do it in the winter. She wants to do it now.
I know.
No, I was thinking of saving my unibrow for that somebody could rip the,
Oh, man.
if you can't have
This is
fun,
what happens when we get done early.
if you can't have fun, why do it? I just, did the slide come in yet for Bungana?
Yeah, I think Holly and Holland put it up.
Nice.
Oh, I'll have to ask Manny. I asked her if she wanted to stay home with me on Friday. She's like, are we gonna go to a beach? And I was like, no.
Would you like to use the smiley face?
Then I'm
pen?
going to summer.
Thank you.
Don't hang with your mom.
When she's older though, you can drag her to all kinds of fun places.
Oh, yeah.
Drag my daughter to country line dancing.
Hmm.
She's like, I'm never coming back. It's like, well, at least she came once.
Oh. I don't know if the wine anymore. They tell me they will, but probably told my mom that too.
It appears that my husband and I will be married for 42 years tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations.
So we're taking the day off.
Sounds fantastic.
Should be fun.
Awesome. Exciting.
Awesome. I don't see any glints off of this. All these, this new sign, new name tag. The light hits it just right.
Interfering
It
with the video.
Haven't seen any stars except for on Amber's cut.
I think that's for shade. But shade, you're going to February.
Oh,
It's regretful.
oh,
Mighty cool. Nothing.
Was that it?
That's it? Yeah, I just put that municipal one back.
And I'll make a motion to adjourn.
1 second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Right.
Let's go. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Should we go for an adult beverage then?
I have to go get my child at softball practice.